Awesome. All right. Well, that brings us through. So we've talked offense, defense, special teams, and now I think it's time to play a little game we like to call the schedule game. So let's talk about Illinois, and there we go. Awesome. So Illinois has a really favorable schedule.
Yes.
This year. And it's, you look at those first few games. Let's talk out of conference. Western Illinois, that's a win. At Duke, that's a tricky game. And then Western Michigan, that's definitely a win. So really, in the out of conference section, that Duke game, everyone's talking about the Duke quarterback, but I just have a hard time believing that Duke is a coherent enough program at this time. Like, you're a more mature program than they are at this point.
Yeah, definitely more mature, but I always hate these games where you're traveling to one of the coasts or the other. Illinois historically does not play well in those. So this is a legit tough game for Illinois. I'm not expecting to win by any means. I'm expecting an absolute, slugfest out there. If we don't come away with the win, but still play fairly well, I think the season's still on track. But boy, it sure would be nice to start out 3-0.
Yeah, and I think you will. I just think, Duke doesn't seem that deep yet to me. Like, I was looking over their roster a little bit, and it's it's year 2, right? Manny Diaz. So he doesn't have. I think he's still kind of putting together his stuff. So yeah, I think that'll be a tough game. But I've definitely got Illinois winning. So I assume you're going to be 3-0 going into a game that John and I have been talking about for like 6 months already. And that is to open Big Ten play September 20th at Indiana.
Yeah, and this is a game that I think if both teams take care of business and are 3-0, back in the day, this would have been like, game day's going there. They're going to be there. I don't think it's going to happen anymore just because of the relationship with ESPN and the SEC and the non-relationship with the Big Ten. But back in the day, if that comes to fruition, that would be game day, and that would be spectacular, because when have they ever gone to Bloomington? When have they ever gone to Champaign? Right? The answer is never.
Yeah.
No, that would be, and I just think, looking at both Indiana and Illinois have kind of favorable schedules this year, and I just feel like the winner of this game kind of has the inside track to a great season.
Yeah, that's and a great coaching battle too, as we did the coaching, right? Cignetti versus Bielema, so you get to see top-notch coaching in action.
Yeah, and oh man, I'm trying to. What do you think Cignetti's even going to say before this game? He's going to say, "Boy, is he going to say?" He's like, I don't know. I feel like he's going to say something incendiary, and it's going to be great.
Well, I hope so, because can you imagine the banter between him and Bielema?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
I hope they're texting right now.
By the way, kudos to you for the official Illinois schedule that you're projecting here. That's from the Illinois football program. So
it is.
Kudos to you. It's not.
We try to do a few things right here, Kurt.
Yeah, you didn't just snip from ESPN.
No, we try to avoid giving ESPN any credit.
Yeah. No.
Even when I use them for research, I don't even acknowledge it. We used to actually, when we started this pod, we would use SP Plus all the time. And then Bill Connolly being at ESPN just kind of turned me off of that.
Yeah, I've had my spats with Bill, so I've kind of written him off.
Yeah, no, I think he did really great work for a really long time, but I think, just like everyone else at ESPN, he's got to kind of, he has to be a company man, and they're all company men at ESPN, but that is a conversation that could go way off the rails. So moving on, if Illinois can get that win, and I do think, you have the quarterback experience advantage. Like, I know Mendoza's pretty good, but he's in a whole new offense, new playmakers, new system. It's early in the year. I gotta think Illinois gets there, gets that win, gets to 4-0, and then Southern Cal. That's an interesting one. We had a fantastic time playing USC last year, I have a feeling USC is going to be probably a tougher out this year than they were.
Yeah, I saw the USC play in Minneapolis, back in like 2010-ish. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
2010, 2011, maybe, somewhere around there. I also have seen Southern Cal play in Champaign before. And was it 1995 or 96? I can't remember, but I was in school. I was an upperclassman.
Sure.
And, of course you know what? It was 96 because they were coming off the Rose Bowl year. So yeah, 1996, a year in which Illinois would finish 2-9. And you're playing the Pac-12 champs and Rose Bowl champs. And they roll into Champaign, and we take the opening kickoff, matriculate the ball down the field, kick a field goal. It's 3-0. We're all like, oh, this isn't going to be so hard. Final score, 55-3, USC.
Oof. Yeah.
The first Gopher game my dad ever took me to, Penn State beat us 56-3, and the highlight of the game was when Goldie Gopher punched out the Penn State Nittany Lion. That was as good as it got at that point.
But the Southern Cal game, I mean, obviously incredibly talented, so you could easily lose that game. But I love getting them at home. This is a team that you can beat, so I love having them at home. And I just trust Bielema a lot more than I do Riley right now. So I think we got a really good shot at winning that game.
So last year, go ahead, John.
Oh, well, that's our quibble with USC in general. It's not lack of talent. We went over this last year when Minnesota beat USC, and then obviously as we saw USC's season play out, I don't trust Lincoln at all. I don't trust Riley at all. I don't trust his ability to utilize his talent correctly. I don't trust Maava either, especially against your DBs, your secondary. Like I think that could be a potential nightmare for USC at this point in time. And it's just there was at least, and maybe it won't happen this year, but there was definitely a level of hubris going into these games against teams such as Minnesota, such as Illinois, where I think there was an expectation that we would just roll over and it would be easy. Right. So obviously they found out the hard way last year that that's just not the case in the Big Ten, with the floor being much higher than what they expected. So I personally think that I don't expect them to go in with that mentality into Illinois. I would hope anyways that Lincoln would have a better idea about what he's facing. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he went in with the same approach. And Bielema does what Bielema does. So
Lincoln Riley had an offensive line that was great at running, blocking, and struggled in pass pro, and he continued to throw the ball in the most key situations of every game. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he knows how to coach any other way. So like that passing game better be better. It better be improved this year, because if it's not, and also Kurt will tell you at this pod, we don't believe that Miller Moss was the problem. Okay. Like, I don't think Lincoln Riley was doing him any favors. And I bet you anything Miller Moss is going to go crazy at Louisville this year.
Okay. Watch it out for him.
Yeah. Whereas Maava, man, I just see an interception machine. So maybe he gets that under control, but I kind of think that here's my big prediction for USC. At some point this season, Lincoln Riley is going to bench his quarterback again and go to the freshman, the 5-star Longstreet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So Southern California, that's a game that I think you guys should win. But it's always tough to play them with the talent they have. Then you go to West Lafayette to play the Boilermakers. Probably don't have to talk much about that game. Purdue.
Well,
Barry Odom's a good coach.
I'll talk a little bit about it. This is something that non-Illinois fans probably don't realize, but Purdue has absolutely owned Illinois in football in the last 20 or so years. I don't remember. I'm probably going to get the numbers wrong, but they had won something like 14 out of the previous 18 games before last year. Oh, wow. And then we all know how bad Purdue was last year and how good Illinois was. And it took us overtime to beat them, and we give up 49 points to them. I mean, it was our biggest point total output given up on the entire season. So even though we won that game, I was still freaking angry afterwards. Yeah. Which was so ugly. So that I'm not taking that Purdue game for granted.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fair.
You can't really take, I mean, we talk about this too, like as bad as some teams may, the perception is in the Big Ten, anyone can really come up and get you at any point in time. And is the reality of it. Like I said before, the floor in the Big Ten is a lot higher than what people assume it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, you're right. And, Purdue, Barry Odom's bringing in a lot of guys. They'll be more competitive than they were last year for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's an interesting one. That said, if you have to, gun to my head, I'm comfortably picking Illinois in that game, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So you go then you host Ohio State,
Mhm.
and there's a decent chance you're undefeated at that point, or
Yeah.
have one loss, somewhere between 0 and 1 losses. Like, I feel like there's a really good shot at that. And, that could be, playing Ohio State. If you're, say you're undefeated or have just the 1 loss, it could both be ranked. I mean, this could be a really, or should be a really big game.
Yeah, and with Ohio State actually replacing a lot of their roster, it would have been nice to get them a little earlier in the season. And the other thing I don't like about this game is, when you're a fan of a middling program like Illinois, you kind of think the opposite on scheduling a lot of times. I want the best teams. I want to play them on the road because we're probably not going to win anyway. So why throw away a home game for it? I don't like playing them at home. I wish, but that's about the only complaint I have with this entire schedule this year. Like you mentioned, it is very manageable. But yeah, it's not out of the realm of the possibility that Illinois wins this game. I don't expect that by any means. Haven't beat them since 2007. You had already referenced that team, the Juice Williams team. So I'm not expecting it, but there's an outside shot. It could happen. First win since 2007.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten them since 2001, so we feel you.
2001. Okay.
Yeah. That was Ron Johnson when he was unstoppable.
Oh, sure. I remember him.
Yeah, he torched Ohio State, but here's the thing. It drives me crazy about Ohio State. I feel like PJ tries to beat everybody else, but PJ Fleck, I feel like against Ohio State, he's like, let's just try to get out of this without getting too injured.
Yeah.
And he's just like, we're going to run the ball up the middle and like grind clock and like,
sure.
Yeah, we're probably going to lose. And that's
get out of here as fast as possible.
Yep. So I hope Bielema does not take that approach. I hope Bielema takes a run at him because I do think Ohio State with you never know with a Frosh QB.
Yeah.
Or with
an
inexperienced QB.
Yeah.
And Julian saying, who knows, especially with the secondary you have, you could confuse him.
True too.
You could trick him. There's a lot of things that could happen. So that's a game I've got circled. And then probably the best part of the schedule for all of you guys is that you have a bye before you have to take on a really dangerous Washington team.
Well, that's the saving grace of that game is that there's a bye in there. I absolutely hate this game. This is my least favorite game on the entire schedule. This is a game Illinois just doesn't win historically. I was mentioning going across to Coast Duke. We're even worse when we go the other direction and visit the West Coast. And Washington was better than I expected them to be last year. It sounds like they're much improved from last year. That is going to be a tough out. I do not expect a victory. I expect a loss that weekend.
Yeah, Washington, I think, has the best quarterback, running back, wide receiver trio maybe in the Big Ten.
Okay.
Because Jonah Coleman is special. Damon Williams is coming up hard. And is it Boston? Yep. Yeah, he's legit too. So, yeah, they're dangerous. I'm a little skeptical of them on the line of scrimmage still.
Okay.
I think there could be a little vulnerable there, but they'll be better than they were last year. And last year, I think that's really where they struggled was up front. So yeah, that's a dangerous game. So yeah, that's for sure a potential loss. But then, you host Rutgers you host Rutgers. So that's a good game to have at home. Rutgers, man, that is a hard team for me to project this year because they don't have Kyle Monangai, but I did like the backup running back in the bowl game a lot, the freshman Raymond. But I also, John and I, no matter how well he plays at times, I just can't get behind Ethan Kaliakmanis as like believing he's going to win a big game when you need him to.
Yeah, Ethan's never done anything to show that he's more than just a mediocre quarterback. Who knows? It's happened before. Guys, play for 3 years, don't look that good, then take a sudden leap there last year. It just doesn't happen that often. I don't expect it, but I love that we get this game at home because on the road, I wouldn't feel very confident. I feel pretty good with them coming to Champaign.
Well, we also have no confidence in Rutgers' new defensive coordinator, Rob Smith. So,
there's an Illinois connection right there with Minnesota.
Yeah.
You were talking about Bielema breaking Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That in 2018, I think it was the year.
It was 2018.
We basically got Rob Smith fired.
You did, and it was the best thing that ever happened to us.
It was. You guys turned it around after that.
Joe Rossi immediately.
Yeah.
Man, those guys, his players were so confused all the time. And he was trying to do some sort of really complex NFL style like reading, and it just did not work. So the only thing I'll say about Rob Smith is if John's point is always, if anyone can make him successful, it'll be Greg Schiano.
Yeah.
Because that defense is his baby. But it also won't surprise me if Rob Smith is fired by the time you play Rutgers.
Okay.
I'm leaving that on the table. That's something I think when we put our bold predictions out, that was one for me that I think he's going to get, because I just can't believe that he's competent in any way. So you get Rutgers at home. I think you probably win that one. So you could be, sitting here pretty with, 1-2 losses. And then you get into the home stretch. You get a nice bye week to get ready for Maryland. Who knows what kind of condition Maryland's going to be in by the time you play them. I mean, that program's in tough shape.
Yes, getting them at the end of the year is probably good for Illinois. Yeah, I hate like bashing any program or any coach, and I like Loxley. He was the offensive coordinator for that 07 victory.
Mike Loxley.
Yeah, we love him. We call him Uncle Mike on this podcast.
Okay, I mean, I think he's a character. I enjoy having him in the Big Ten, but I do get the feeling that he's heading to crash into the ground here. I feel like this is the start of the end. So I feel like that should be a victory for Illinois.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And I'm not even sure if Loxley's still going to be the coach at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
They have a really tough 4 or 5 games in a row in the middle of the season. And I could see them cutting bait at that point. Maryland in the new Big Ten, Kurt, we talk about how when NIL matters, until Maryland and Purdue can improve their NIL, it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
they both got rated. I mean, both of our teams stole from Purdue.
And we're about to talk about another one. Northwestern is in a similar place. Like, not that they got rated, because I don't think anybody wanted what they had, but they're going to struggle unless they can pick up their NIL.
Yep. No, I agree with that. All right. So then you've got at Wisconsin. Now that's a game that could be. So I imagine, let's say you're right and you lose to Ohio State and you lose to Washington. But I'm also right about those other games. So you're sitting there with 2 losses. Suddenly, you're playing at Wisconsin. That could be the difference between whether or not you make the college football playoff or not.
Yeah,
that Northwestern game at the end.
If they indeed only have 2 losses, I find it hard to believe that they would lose at Wisconsin,
right?
Especially because Brett's the head coach. But I'm definitely scared of that game.
Yeah.
With the changes that Wisconsin's made, I still have that Illini fan PTSD of them dominating us for the last 30 years. So it's just hard to believe that they can stay down where they've been the last couple of years. And getting them on the road too. So that one, the other thing, they may not have a good record coming into that game because their schedule's so freaking hard, but they may be way better than what their record says. So it's a game where you could overlook them.
For sure. It's they brought in so much in the portal. Wisconsin is going to be a team that probably plays a lot better at the end of the year than they do at the beginning of the year.
That's right.
So that'll be an interesting one. I'm hoping that you soften them up for us in that one, that you really take their best shot. And so that they're, tired by the time they roll up to us. And then you finish against Northwestern, which, unless Preston Stone is better than I think he is, man, David Braun did a great job in year 1, but it just seems like that's going the wrong direction too.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, I have PTSD with Northwestern as well, but I think I'm getting over that. Like I used to just look at that and say, well, okay, even if we're like, say, I don't know, 6-5 going to that game, or better yet, 5-6 going into that game with the chance to go to a bowl game. No, we're going to lose that game. But I look at them now on the schedule and I feel pretty good. I think we get the job done there, no matter really. I don't want to guarantee anything because it's Northwestern, but no matter what happens, I feel like Illinois wins the game.
No, I think you're going to run them off the field. I think it's going to be ugly. I think David Braun's going to be looking for another job. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be Braun and Loxley who get fired this year about Big Ten teams. And then I think USC and Wisconsin might want to fire their coaches, but I don't think they have the money to do it.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But so Illinois, we talked about it before, but it just seems like everything when you play the schedule game, when you look at what's returning, when you look at the top end talent, when you look at where the stars are, man, the stars have kind of aligned, Kurt, for Illinois to make a magic run this year potentially.
Yeah, there's a lot of orange Kool-Aid being consumed in Champaign right now.
Yeah, I believe
high. Now
I saw that the season tickets also have sold more than you have in a long time too.
Yeah, they sold out. It's the first time that we've sold out season tickets, and gosh, probably since the Zook years.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really incredible. But go on, you were going to say something else, Kurt. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I just wanted to get to like an overall season prediction from me.
Yes, please.
Okay. So the way I look at it, I see 5 games that they should definitely win.
Okay.
I see 1 game, Ohio State, that they should definitely lose. I almost put Washington in there. I didn't, but they have a shot against Washington, so I didn't throw it in there. That leaves 6 games. What do I think is going to happen in those 6 games? Well, last year, did you know that Illinois was 5-1 in 1-score games? So when they played a team that they were kind of on the same level with, they took care of business for the most part. The one being Minnesota, it was an 8-point margin, but I'm still counting that as a 1-score game.
That's a 1-score game. That's a 1-score game. Yeah.
I just think that's going to regress back to the mean. You don't usually do that 2 years in a row. So with those 6 games, I'm tossing them up 3-3. So I have an 8-4 prediction for the regular season.
Interesting. That makes sense. And from a math perspective, you're probably correct. But I don't know. I'm gonna pick Illinois to go 10-2, just so you know. That's where I'm.
All right. Yeah, I love it.
And here's the thing. Bielema outcoached those coaches. It wasn't just luck. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
He made Greg Schiano look stupid. Just looked foolish.
The most impressive thing. Yeah, he did that. Boy, did he ever. That was crazy. The most impressive thing he did to me last year was in the first half of the year, we were not very good on the offensive line or defensive line, and we kept winning ball games. Mm-hmm. When does that ever happen?
Yeah, right. That's coaching, man. And I'm with Mike here. I think the floor is 8-4, to be honest with you. Maybe I could see an argument for 7-5, but it seems like a 9-10 win season seems like a lock to me with this team, at least as long as you can stay healthy. If you can pull that off like you did last year, I don't see how it couldn't be anything else. They're definitely my dark horse pick in the Big Ten for the college football playoff at this point.
Yeah, they have a shot to make it. I could definitely see them winning 10 games. I just, having watched Illinois for 50 years of my life, I know better than to predict that.
Yeah.
We know how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.